Michael Ray here with Patient Care Marketing Pros. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the secrets behind a great website for urgent cares. And I'm just going to break it to you. It's not that difficult. It's very straightforward. And the key at the end of the day is how to get people to come into your clinic. So coming into the clinic, they either going to call you, they're going to do a book online, or get save your spot online, or however you want to phrase it, or they're just going to show up because they got the information they needed. So in this video, we're just going to talk more about the practicality of it, because design wise, as long as it's easy to like the functions there and it's easy to get to those call to actions, you're mostly going to win. But let's talk about design pieces real quick. So just a couple of things to note here. I have 3 sites I'm going to show you. They're all across the country. They all perform very well. They all have online schedulers, and they're multi-location urgent cares, and they're living on WordPress sites. So these are all WordPress I'm about to show you. The first one that's sharing the screen right now is Aspen. The next one would be Lonnie, and the third one would be Southern Immediate. So all 3 of these are sites that we've worked on, sites that we've built. You can go look at them right now live. This is as of October. This is what we're looking at right now. But yeah, you can go check them out at any point throughout this video and just kind of see what they're all about. But let's talk about it. Notice the commonality among all 3. So you have your Save Your Spot online with Aspen, Save Your Spot inline or schedule a video visit, and then check in online. Notice that the variation on the phrasing. What we're finding is that it doesn't matter too much, because there's an expectation around the idea that people can book something online, grab a scheduler, input their information. And so when they show up at the urgent care, they're not waiting in line. Hopefully they are moving right through the process very quickly. So and we see that all the time in all of our analytics on our main websites, our landing pages for ads and all the things. They're either clicking that scheduler or clicking to call you every single time. So it's here too, like Southern Immediate. While you have this here, you can find a location or you can call, and they actually have a central number that you call as well. So that no matter what, no matter you call what location you're trying to call, that number is the number you will call. So that's unique to them. A little bit different here. So if we go to contact us, we have all 3 locations sitting right here. It knows that the numbers are the same once again. So that's a trend, right? Now, a couple of things we'll note about if you're going to utilize a centralized number, you have to remember that speed is important. So if they're not getting the information quickly enough or the correct information, they're going to move on to the next urgent care, because urgent cares, their patients don't have huge brand loyalty. At the end of the day, it's convenience and good quality care. And so that's just that reminder of, no matter how pretty a website is or how easy it is to navigate, if they're going to call you, that experience has to be very solid when they click to call you. All right. So notice that. So that's another thing just to notice that's coming around with all these sites. Big imagery, very straightforward. Lancey Medical Urgent Care, and then primary and urgent care. Notice it's all being listed up top. Urgent care for all ages, 7 days a week. Now, the reason why it's being done is actually a couple of reasons. But one, when someone hits this website, they know they're in the right spot. So they're not coming here and it says Aspen Medical Center, and then that's all it says. And, if it only leaned in on this locally owned outpatient medical facility, that's not leaning in urgent care. Like if it literally said this and nothing else, it might create confusion for certain people when they hit this, because they'll say, is this an urgent care or is this an outpatient facility for something else? I can't tell. So that's the importance of that. And then same with, like, it's just simple, right? It's very straightforward and to the point, and we're trying to get them in the cut of the screen. So cut of the screen, even if you go on your phone, cut of the screen, super important. So at the end of the day, they're looking for that call to action that you want them to take. You don't want to give them a ton of options, because if you give them too many options, they'll never choose the right one. But generally speaking, in your world, it's like call to clinic or book online. And so this is happening right here. It's a nice button that appears right here and just goes straight on to where it needs to go, and it repeats itself. It's okay that things repeat themselves. It's just part of the mix. Notice we come through here. We realize that most people don't go beyond here. This is your most important part of your website, is this first cut of screen. Simply because people don't scroll much further. Some do, for sure, but majority, when I say majority, you're probably talking 75% or more, stick it right here. And they're looking for that quick call to action. And if you go to any website, you'll find that the main call to action is very obvious and repeated, just because they know why you're visiting that site in the first place. Because most urgent cares are there to bring in patients, not necessary to sit there and educate the patient on deep white papers about certain diseases, things like that. That's not the point of the urgent care website. Urgent care websites sit there to promote the urgent care and to encourage patients to show up at their door. So scrolling down through here, a couple of things you want to note is, once again, repeating some information. We recognize too that people, if they're going to move beyond the homepage, they always like to look at the doctors or the staff that they're going to be involved with, and the locations. And once again, we're trying to book them. Then we start talking about them, talking about the clinic and who they are and what they do, and start listing services. We recognize that people don't necessarily click here that often, but it's good to show that from a Google standpoint. SEO appreciates when you recognize some of the key things that you want to rank for, that you're showing some of that on the homepage. In addition, it's linking over to pages dedicated to those things. That does matter. And you see here, once again, call to action, call to action. Insurance accepted. That's a pretty common thing we find nowadays, that people want to see a list of insurances. Sometimes you got to be careful because those insurances can update on a regular basis, but you should recognize that people do look for that. And then opportunities to show off, reviews and things like that. And then we do blogs for clients. And so showcasing some of the latest blogs is super important as well. So that's the example there. If you come over here to Lonnie, similar flows. Let's talk about them. Let's mention services. What about insurances and blog and so forth? So you can kind of see how that goes. Similar but different, right? Similar but different. But at the end of the day, this is what people care about. So if you were going to sum up on the secrets to a website design for an urgent care, call to action is your phone number, your click to call, and your click to schedule every single time. Don't make that hard. If it takes more than 2 clicks to get to the call to action that you want them to take, you've done something wrong. Just straight up. If you're having them go, it's okay for them to go like location page and click on location and go. But if they're having to like dig deeper, then there's probably a problem. So you would just want to consider that. If you're not sure, just ask this is the easiest test you can make. Ask somebody, family member or whomever that probably has never seen your urgent care website, and say, hey, can you go to my website and tell me how long it takes you to find a way to book online with one of our clinics? And if you're multi-clinic, you can even say, how long does it take me to book into the Birmingham clinic? And just ask them to time themselves when they do it, and make sure they do it on their phone, because we recognize a lot of people are still on their phone, like 60, 70% plus. Some are up to 80%, depends on the area sometimes, and just see how long it takes. If they are struggling, then you probably have some opportunity to improve. We call that conversion optimization, right? We want to increase that conversion. And if they go straight to it, no questions asked, and it's a smooth experience, great, you're doing the right things. Now you're just looking for simple opportunities to, if there's a way to speed it up, if there was any hesitancy to it, how to correct that. So at the end of the day, this video is just walking straight through the simplicity of that, and a couple other things, some minor things to note. So those are the major, some of the minors. If you can use real imagery, please do. I know stock imagery is a thing, and it's very common in the urgent care space. But when you have real imagery, it makes a difference. You can even see here with Lonnie, those are real photos of real people at their clinic. That's actually one of the doctors right there. So in this scenario, like, this showcases real things are going on. And it gives a much more authentic flair to it. Because if you come over to Aspen, we do not have lots of real imagery. It's all stock imagery. And you can see it too. Sometimes your eyes get trained to it. And we just encourage it because it makes you more real. It encourages the conversion of that, because when they see a real person and then they show up and it's the actual same person they saw on the website, usually wins. So we just want to encourage that. Other things too, keep this navigation very simplistic. Don't do too much. When you start adding too many things, they get confusing. So in general, just like I show here, you have an about page, which can go into the staffing or the history of the clinic or why was it created, things like that. Next, if you're multi-location, you want to have a locations page. If you're only two locations, sometimes you can get away with just a single location page showing information for both. But we like to expand beyond that if we can. Services, you can either do a services general page or a drop down. Notice we have a drop down for all these things. We encourage, if you're trying to, if you have a service that you love doing beyond just simple urgent care service, like a physical, sports physicals, DOT, it's good to have separate pages for that if you can. And then also, after that, we have a contact us, which you can go into a scheduler page if you want it to, or it can go into like a general contact with some information that they can reach out. And then resources. So it could be blog, it could be patient forms, payment information, because payment's a real thing. I don't always encourage having a payment portal link on the site. That's an obvious spot, but sitting underneath resources is a good place. And it's simple training to your staff where somebody calls, how do I pay you? Hey, go to our website under resources, you'll see payment link. That's a super easy way of doing that. So it's just an option to you. But just notice that's the consistency that we have. Like, we're not trying to have a ton of information out there just because, or light up in that navigation. Because if this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things became 10, it's just too much. One, it's hard to fit all that up there from a pure like just sizing standpoint. Two, it's overwhelming to the end user when they're going through it, and that's just too many options for them. There's lots of data out there that shows that you really can't go beyond 5 to 7 links on a navigation because it becomes too much, too cumbersome. Now, there are situations, of course, where you're maybe on a website that's very functional from the standpoint it does things for you. That's different. And if you notice that when you reach a website that has tons of functionality that does things for you, that navigation usually goes to the sidebar and goes down the page because it's there to expand with the page and not just fill up a top area. Anyway, so just want to walk through all that. If you got questions, let us know. Also, if you want more information just like this from any time, go check out our podcast. This is actually where we record it. Walk-ins welcome. We do an episode every single week, and we're always talking about things to improve your clinic, not just from a marketing standpoint, from just every aspect of it. We love having vendors come on and discuss things and just leadership and things like that. But let us know if you got any questions, and we'll catch you on the next one.